My name is Kala, Arvind Kala. The BJP embraces ignorance, and one misconception it harbors that India's 1,000 million Hindus are all alike. In reality, they're very, very different. I'll give you an example. Can you imagine in North India a girl getting married to her mother's real brother? Or if the mother doesn't have a real brother, marrying the mother's first male cousin? No, but in Tamil Nadu, it's rampant, not just among Brahmins, among all communities. That is how different India's various Hindus are. I mean, North Indians and Tamil Nadu's Hindus, for instance. I remember 2 years ago in Goa, where I spent the winter, the cleaning girl was a Hindu girl. And, I asked her, I used to talk to her, so she said she was a Banjara by caste. Banjara is a gypsy. And she said, so I asked her who she had married. She said she had married her mother's brother's son, and her brother had a similar marriage, like that. So there are hundreds of communities in India, even thousands, where you have these kinds of cousin marriages, first cousin marriages, and we Hindus are under the misconception that it happens only among Muslims. Yes, among Muslims it's endemic. It just happens, and that is the real way. That is the thing they do. But in our case, there is a minority of Hindus, probably 1,000 communities. India is divided up into thousands and thousands and thousands of castes and communities and brotherhoods that the government has no idea of. For instance, can you imagine, me having a brother and my daughter marries the brother's son, or me having a sister and her son marrying my daughter? But these are all things which happen in various communities. I mean, it must be happening in South India, here and there. And that is really how it is. And we think that's a Muslim thing. And now here I come to the differentness of the Hindus. Tamil Nadu has the largest Hindu population in South India. By the way, the population of South India is 245 million roughly, and 80% of them are Hindus, like in the rest of India. Now, North India or all of India, the Hindus are very, very religious. But can you imagine Tamil Nadu being led by an atheistic party, DMK and the AIDMK, and supported by Hindus who vote for the DMK? I mean, Lord Ram is revered in North India. Even our gods are different. Lord Ram is revered in India, in North India. Kali is revered in East India and Bengal. Ganpati, Lord Ganesh in West India, and in the South, it's Lord Venkateshwar, etc., etc. So Hindus come in all kinds of flavors. So Mr. Modi and etc. They misperceive that they'll bring all of India's 1,000 million Hindus under their banner and sail to power. That explains that assumption, arrogant assumption, assures their non-entry into South India by and large. By and large, South India has around 245 million people, and North Indians are double that number. But all South Indian Hindus, etc., they detest North Indians. They detest North Indians. For instance, giving the example of Tamil Nadu, can you imagine a party being openly contemptuous of Lord Ram? But that is what Karunanidhi, the former CM of Tamil Nadu and the father of MK Stalin, he was openly contemptuous of Ram because he said, what engineering degree did Lord Ram have that he could build a bridge between India, Kanyakumari, and Sri Lanka? And etc. And then he's openly atheistic. Under his statue in Chennai, there are these words, you won't be able to believe them. God doesn't exist. Inventor of God is a fool. Propagator of God is a scoundrel. The worshipper of God is a barbarian. And now this is an atheistic party voted into power by Hindus of Tamil Nadu. And imagine Can you believe it? And all the reason for the reason for that is actually the South Indians, the South, including the Hindus, forget about the Christians and the Muslims, they detest North Indians. They detest them like anything because they fear them also. Because their fear and their contempt of this thing lies in what in an experience of the DK founder, EVR Periyar Ramaswamy, a devout Hindu who 120 years ago came from Tamil Nadu to go to the Kashi temple in Banaras. He was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, and there he was refused food because he was not a Brahmin. Then he wore a holy thread, etc. But his mustache gave him away, and he couldn't get food. And the fellow who was not giving him food was himself a non-Brahmin. So the DMK, after that he founded the DK, Dravid Kazgam, which was wedded to keeping North Indians away, and they resent that resentment against North India and Hindi, etc. Still carries on. Because so all of South India, I'm talking of Karnataka, this they detest they detest the Hindus they detest all North Indians because they find the North Indians very aggressive, and they feel discriminated because South India has double the per capita income of North India. They produce fewer children, but they pay more in taxes to the center, and the center distributes the money that South India gives to North India because North India has the people. North Indians, as I said, are double the number of South Indians. So there is a huge difference between different kinds of Hindus, and Modi and Mr. Shah, etc., make a very big mistake when they think they are all alike. I mean, look at the riverine, the Bengal. Everybody is a non-vegetarian in vast swathes. So Rajasthan, Haryana, UP, etc. There's a lot of vegetarianism. I think Gujarat is entirely vegetarian, but in South India you find a lot of meat eating. So they're very different. So when we imagine that all Hindus are the same, it's not so at all. And that the reason for that, by the way, incidentally, it's because of India's geographical shape. India is longer north to south than east to west. North to south, it's around 3,200 kilometers, but east to west, it starts narrowing from Orissa in the east and Gujarat in the next, right down. If you look at the map, it just starts narrowing to Kanyakumari. And so the longer the north-south axis is, the more different people are. Now, for instance, as a Hindu of North India, a Delhiite, I'm a Gadwali, I have nothing really in common with a South Indian Hindu, though we have the same religion, because he speaks a different language, he looks different, he behaves in a different fashion. I have much more in common with a West Pakistani than with a South Indian. So people are very, very different. And when Mr. Modi makes this assumption that all Hindus are totally united, that's not so at all. South Indian Hindus detest the North Indians and they call them bloody Punjabis. And I don't think Bengalis like North Indian Hindus also, because Punjabi, the North India has a very aggressive culture, pushing and shoving and this and that, and moving around with your chest open, and it violates the sensibilities of those gentle South Indians. Well, friends, I've said enough. Please send this to everybody you know. I'll take your leave very shortly. So, and if you're seeing this on YouTube, please be my subscriber. And that's it. I think it's time for me to move. See you later, alligator.